Hey guys, what's going on? Had a pretty cool idea for a video. I often show people ball pythons that I work with, but I never really say which animals are my favorite. Um, and then if I do tell you that I really like a snake, I don't really say why, other than the way it looks. So today I've decided I'm going to show you guys my top 5 favorite ball pythons, and I'm going to list a couple reasons why I like these animals in particular. Because sometimes it'll be an animal that's not necessarily the most like crazy out of this world morph, but it'll be more because of the character of the animal. So number 5 will be this yellow belly genetic stripe female. Now, I find she does look really nice, especially she's looking great today. That's just because she ovulated recently. We're hoping that we're going to get some nice pastel yellow belly genetic stripes. We bred a pastel genetic stripe to her. So all the babies are going to be genetic stripes, and we'll get normal genetic stripes, yellow belly genetic stripes, pastel genetic stripes, and combinations of that. So the reason why I really like this animal is she's probably the biggest, well, probably the second biggest ball python in our collection. And she is actually only 2.5 years old. This is an animal that from the time we got her up until right now, she's basically never refused to eat. She's never been aggressive, but just has an amazing appetite. Never said no to a rat, never said no to anything. She was basically a garbage disposal unit. And that, I mean, I really like that in snakes. Especially ball pythons. Kind of rare to have that animal that never hits that block. Typically, especially when they're going from a smaller cage to a bigger cage, usually for a couple of weeks, sometimes even a couple of months. Once you put them into a bigger cage, they'll stop eating. And again, never was the case with this girl. And yeah, you don't really see this type of morph too often, a yellow belly genetic stripe. So really excited to be working with this female, especially since, as you guys know, we have a couple of like yellow belly complex type animals. We have the puma and the super stripe, so really like this animal here. Alright guys, here's number 4. I really like this animal because we produce them. I typically have a soft spot for animals that we produce here, as opposed to animals that we'll just buy. But this animal right here is a marble ball python, otherwise known as a pastel super stripe, otherwise known as a pastel spectre yellow belly. And I mean, I find I don't really even need to say too much about this snake. I find it absolutely beautiful. I'm a huge fan of yellow on snakes. That's why I really like carpet pythons. But this guy just blows me away. He gets better and better with each shed. And unfortunately or fortunately, this guy will probably not be shown again in any of my videos, just because somebody has bought him. This guy is actually going to go to the complete other side of Canada, and was purchased a little while ago, and I believe there's just one more payment left to be made on this guy and a chocolate hypo, and we'll send them both off. So this is kind of a goodbye in this video, but I'll kind of explain why I really like this animal, besides the color. Again, kind of like the yellow belly genetic stripe, this guy never hit a wall. He's never said no to food. He eats every week, at least every week. Sometimes he eats up to 2. Sometimes they get a little bit crazy and feed him 3 times in 1 week. And also an animal that even when in shed will eat. And besides that, super friendly. A lot of our ball pythons are still a little bit mean at this age, but this guy is super friendly, easy to handle. We have brought him to expos before, and we've allowed even little kids to handle him, and there was just never any malice in this animal. Super friendly, and sometimes you will get a timid animal like that, but he won't eat very well. Whereas this guy, turns it on. As soon as he smells rats in the room, he becomes a totally different snake. So really beautiful animal. And what's also cool about this gene is obviously you can't produce any normals. The worst you will get from this guy is yellow bellies and specters. Can't produce normals. Alright guys, let's move on to number 3. Alright guys, so I'm pretty sure you knew that this one would have to make the list. This is number 3 on my favorite ball python list, and I'll be honest, this one is kind of just purely because of what it is. There was so much time that was put into making this snake by both myself and Joseph. Basically, this snake was about 4 or 5 years in the making. We started off with, just regular chocolates. We were one of, I think we're still probably one of the few people that work with chocolates up here in Canada, but definitely one of the few people or few breeders that are working with chocolate mixed with hypo. And now we have a bunch of cool stuff. We have a butter chocolate 100% het hypo. We have a butter chocolate hypo female. And now this year we have this female, a super chocolate hypo. So, I mean, I put a whole bunch of videos out on this animal before, so I won't go too much into like why I like her, other than the fact that, purple and orange, great combination. I'm a huge fan of contrast, and I find this animal has kept a lot of that purple as she's gotten older. I'll be showing you a snake a little bit later that was basically purple when it was young, but kind of like went to more of a gray kind of color, a gray brown color. But I definitely expect this animal to hold on to this color even as she gets older. And she is a little bit meaner than, let's say, the pastel super stripe that we just saw. But again, you will find that this is kind of a reoccurring thing for me, is that all the animals that I find the best are just great snakes. And when I say great snakes, I mean that they're always good at eating. They grow very well, and basically all the animals I showed you today, even from when they were first born, they jumped onto frozen right away. Maybe this girl here had like 1 or 2 live feedings when she was young, but she's been like killing frozen thawed weaned rats now, so she's growing at a very good rate. And man, we just at this point we have no idea what we're going to breed to her, but our plans are to see if we could hit on a super chocolate butter hypo this year. So we'll see where we go from there. Alright guys, on to number 2. Alright guys, here's number 2 on my favorite ball pythons list that we got going on here at Safari Reptiles. So this right here, you guys have seen him quite a bit as well. This is our banana enchi male, and believe it or not, he is probably the same age as the 2 snakes you just saw, the pastel super stripe and the super chocolate hypo. And you can see he is considerably bigger, and even though he is a pretty good size right now, he's kept really nice color. I showed you guys in my banana video like what a regular banana looks like, and I mean, the enchi bananas just seem to keep that really nice contrast and color to them. So this guy's a bit antsy right now because I just pulled him out of breeding. He was in with our pastel champagne. So what I really like about this animal is just, to me, he's the best ball python I've ever had the pleasure of working with. You see I keep touching his head, and he's not once thought about striking me. I just kind of don't want him to like start climbing all over the place. But this guy is an absolute destroyer when it comes to eating. And when he's not eating, he couldn't be more friendly. Another animal that eats in its shed. No matter, like, it'll eat the day that it's going to shed and the day that its eyes are as blue as they can be. So really nice looking animal. Honestly, if I knew that he was breeding right now, he'd probably be like my number 1 on this list. But I actually haven't witnessed this guy lock up with anybody yet. So we're still crossing our fingers that we'll finally produce our very own bananas this year, but everything's still up in the air. Well, actually, I know we're definitely going to produce some bananas this year, just because our banana fire spider female, who I guess some of you would be surprised is not on this list, is going to lay within probably a week or 2. So Really excited for that. But I mean, I don't find it gets much better looking than this animal here. The contrast and the combination of the two colors, pink and yellow, just really nice. And yeah, not too much else to say about this guy. Really like him. And now, finally, let's get to number 1. Alright guys, so we actually have 2 snakes here, and believe it or not, the little male you're seeing here, the chocolate butter 100% het hypo, he was like in the honorable mentions. He was probably like, you know, in the top 10 if I were to do a top 10. And the reason for that is that, you know, he's pretty young, but he's been breeding our animals, well, breeding our females like a machine this year. We're really excited because we paired him with a chocolate ghost. And they're unrelated, by the way. The chocolate ghost is not his mother, because sometimes people do that, believe it or not. That's how you end up with, you know, certain problems, certain genetic defects, is when you don't try to like outcross the different lines. But this guy was produced by our super chocolate male, 100% hypo, bred to the butter hypo that we have. So he is completely unrelated to the chocolate ghost that he bred to this year. But the animal he's actually in here with is my favorite ball python that I work with. And, you know, she used to look a lot better when she was young. This is the animal I was talking about before when I said when she was young she was purple. And this is a black pastel orange ghost. Let's just move her here. So this animal really changed Safari Reptiles, I find. It really led to me and Joseph getting like bananas. It led to us, you know, expanding really, because this animal is that first, like, I guess, higher end animal that we got to breed for us. And we actually didn't think she would go originally. This animal, we actually brought in from... Actually, no, a quick backstory. We used to have a black pastel orange ghost, but then we had to sell it. It was when we just basically had our vision rack. And then the person who we sold it to actually ended up selling us this girl, who maybe came from that one that we originally sold to him. So this was one of the very first probably black pastels that was in Canada, or at least probably like came from the one of the very first lines that was in Canada, black pastel orange ghost. And once we got this animal, she grew really well. She always ate very good, and believe it or not, she actually bred for us at 2 years. Now that both me and Joseph are older, wiser, we would maybe not consider breeding an animal that was her size when she finally did breed for us. But when she did go for us for the first time, she laid 7 eggs. And out of that clutch, we got black pastel orange ghosts like her, which are absolutely incredible when they're babies. And we got black butter ghosts. And that was the first time that we ever hit a triple, was a black butter ghost. And again, that was a pretty valuable triple at the time, because not only was it like a triple, like, you know, 3 codoms, but it was a recessive with 2 codoms. And believe it or not, this female, ever since she bred for us, she has not missed a year. This female is usually super fast to go back onto food, has always eaten really well, even when in shed, and just been a great animal for us. Now, it just so happens that every single baby she's ever given to us has been super mean, but this animal probably has done the most for us out of any ball pythons that we've ever purchased or owned. So that's why I really like her, and she's my favorite ball python, because she kind of really got the ball going for us. We're kind of known for our hypo stuff. Typically, if you come to expos that we attend, most of our stuff is the only kind of that stuff available at the expo. You know, there's not a lot of people that are working with black pastel hypo stuff. She also gave us a super black pastel hypo. Now, unfortunately, that animal didn't end up surviving. It was born with a cleft lip. Typically, you know, that's the knock on super black pastel stuff and super cinnamon stuff, is they usually have duck billing and kinks. So we probably won't ever do that again, but it was still cool to hatch out an all purple snake just to see what it would look like, even though, like I said, unfortunately it did end up making it. But anyways, guys, that's my top 5 favorite ball pythons that we work with here at Safari Reptiles. These are my top 5 favorite. I'm sure Joseph would have a different top 5. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already to the channel. And also like the Facebook page, Safari Reptiles. Thanks, guys, and take care.